All right, y'all. You know what it is. It's your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son. Let me enlarge myself, God's chosen son. I'm here with the homie King Connect and
What's
BYS
good?
Kari.
Man, what up, though?
What's up with y'all?
Another day, man.
Our topic of today, we're gonna be discussing: is it worth it for men to be playing the relationship game in the big 2026? Now, before we get into the video, I just asked that whoever's watching, y'all hit the like button. If you got any comments on whatever we talk about, comment, timestamp it. Let us know what y'all thoughts. And hit that subscribe button and that bell. We trying to do the will of the Father. Obviously, we come here from a biblical standpoint. I also have a Discord up. Y'all can see as I zoom out right here. This is the Discord. So this is a community Discord for people who are trying to find fellowship and kinship. If you don't have that within your own hometown or whatnot, we are building a community over here in order to, have brotherhood. Potential sisterhood for women that are looking for that and edification and knowledge. With that being said, let's get into the discussion now. I'm gonna start off by just saying before I get into the script I'm gonna bring um where we gonna be coming from. We gonna be basically coming from personal experience. Now, me personally, the stance I'm taking, I think it's based off of where you are in your life, and it has to be balanced. I don't think it's a definitive answer. Yes or no, should men be dating in 2026 and whatnot? Because I know it's like a movement going on with men, and it's kind of like it's men that's saying, "Well, I'm quitting the dating game" and all of this type of stuff. And I think it worked in certain cases, and I think in certain other cases, got to be evaluated. But ultimately, let me get into my experience. Right now, the scripture I'm gonna go to validate what I'm talking about. I'm going to 1 Corinthians 7 and 27. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosened. Art thou loosened from a wife? Seek not a wife. Now, I think what a lot of men have an issue with in modern times is we try to force the interaction with women. We try to force the relationship. And based off of that scripture, it say if you got a wife, seek not to be loosened. But it say if you don't have one, you shouldn't be going out seeking one, right? My biggest thing from my experience, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Every relationship that I've been in, every woman that I've dealt with, they all came on to me. Like I didn't have to, like, they got the whole, approaching and all of this type of stuff. Dudes going out spitting the game, shooting a shot. And I guess that's cool, but I look at it as a thing as we get more so into these last days, and obviously women getting more high minded and heady. I find that just taking your time and waiting for the right person to just come along, because that's how God operate, right? He's just gonna bring you, what you need when you need it, whether it's finances, your daily bread, a woman to help you out and whatnot. And from my experience, like I said, every woman I dealt with, she came on to me. I didn't have to do all of this extra stuff. Like I just lived my life. My personal thing is dating worth it in 2026. If we talking about like the casual dating and whatnot, and going out and being on dating apps and approaching 50 women and all of this, I don't think that's personally the move. I think men should really just be focused on what they do and let God add that on to you. But that's the stance I'm coming from. Next.
Um, Shoot, I agree. I don't think it's very profitable. I think it's more us allowing gateways for. I mean, the world tells us to be set apart. It says. I mean, the word tells us to be set apart. The word says that broad leadeth to destruction. And if we doing the same thing that the rest of the world is doing, what separates us from the world? You know, if we entertaining the same things and following the same cycles, we're not being set apart. We're not being holy. A scripture that came to my mind regarding this it's Matthew. Let me see, Matthew 6. I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at 19, and I'm gonna put it in context. It says, Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break and steal, but lay up yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, if thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. And if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. Ye,
Oh,
ye,
bless you. Thank you.
yeah, ye cannot serve God and mammon. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. It is not the life more than meat, and the body more than raiment. I'm sorry, every time I read that, like when the word tell you, like, take no thought for your life, it's like it's like, bro, you're supposed to be worry free as you live, and we put so much emphasis on these things, such as when, what we gonna eat, what we gonna wear, or even when it comes to women, this topic, oh, I want a wife, I desire a woman, or I want some boxer, you know what I mean, whatever it shall be. But we're not supposed to be focused on these things. We're supposed to be focused on the things above. As the scripture is about to say, it says, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body more than raiment? Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much more better than they? Which of you by taking thought can add one cubit into his stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies in the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye little, O ye of little faith?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, take no thought, saying, what we shall eat, or what we shall drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of these things, even like pertaining to the woman. The Most High knows that we desire a wife, or a woman, or companionship, or whatever it shall be. Um, but it says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and
Every
his righteousness,
to you.
and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Hmm. But yeah, just reading that scripture is like understanding, man. The main thing we're supposed to be focused on is the kingdom. We're supposed to be focused on salvation. We're supposed to be focused on seeking that perfection, being like Christ, as the word says that we're supposed to be. And the Most High will add all those things to our life. And that's a trick of the adversary, I think, for us to move too fast and to think of these things and prioritize those things more than our relationship with the Most High, more than us building our treasures in heaven. So I think it's a dangerous game, and it's a game that God will allow us to play to teach us lessons. Me personally, being in the few relationships that I have, I end up going on the other end and be like, man, I done wasted a lot of time. You know, I I be regretting in a way of like, man, I could have, I was pouring my heart out to this person, and they still turned away, and even regarding family and all type of different things, it's like it's not worth the time because we have to get ourselves together and we have to cling to the most high ourselves. So, and at the end of the day, as you read, Jay, we're not supposed, if we free, we're not supposed to be we're not supposed to be forcing anything. We're supposed to align with the most high's will. And it, for anything that's worked in my life regarding great relationships on any aspect, it's been people that God himself has put in my life. You know what I mean? So rather than me going out of my own will saying I want this person, I want Shawty, so I'm finna go out and do my thing. Those things usually they don't work in your favor because it might not be the Father's will, and that's
And, sh-
just is what it is.
and
So
she can
the
be a whole
game,
devil.
no cap, and that's how it be sometimes. She be fine, but she be a devil, and thinking, not thinking, just operating in the flesh, that can get you in trouble. That can get you wasting time. Be like, man, so I found out, man, that it's better for me to just focus on my God, do my Father's will. And I'm still a work in progress. I still got a lot of stuff that I got to get together and stuff, that I'm working on. But still, it's like I think that's another big thing about the game. Is like it prevents you from actually conquering those things that you need to conquer. Prevents you from focusing and honing in on your true purpose, on your divine purpose. And yeah, man, that's why I think the game is a waste of time, man. Because at the end of the day, man, we don't see these relationships lasting too much anyway. You know what I mean? These relationships aren't lasting 10, 20 years. There's a whole bunch of adultery and horror mongering and sexual immorality. So the game seems like a devil's trick to me.
Alrighty, I'm I'm very interested to hear Kari perspective, man. What you got for us?
All right, so here's what we about to do. You feel what I'm saying? So look, hold on. I got they all go together. You feel me? I'm gonna explain both sides because I understand both sides. Okay, I understand the perspective of being in a place in which you're building yourself, and you know I believe that it's the man's responsibility to be able to discern and pick which woman that he deals with. You know what I'm saying? Because if we pick the wrong woman, that does set us back. That does put us in a detriment and we can waste time. But then there's also women that pour life into you. There's women that make you want to draw closer to God, make you want to become a more disciplined man, and makes you want to be able to build with her. You did what I'm saying? So here we go. We're going to go Proverbs 18:22. So obviously we all know this one. He who finds a true and faithful wife, right, finds a good thing and obtains favor and approval from the Lord. So that just goes to show, like, it depends on you. She has to be, a upstanding woman. So now we're going to go Proverbs 19:14. These all tie together. Okay. House and wealth. Okay, so this is Proverbs 19. We're going to go 13. A foolish and ungodly son is destruction to his father, and the contentions quarrelsome. Okay, and the contentions of a quarrelsome wife are like constant dripping of water. House and wealth are inheritance from fathers, but wise and understanding and a sensible wife is a gift and a blessing from the Lord. You dig what I'm saying? So we're gonna go back because I gotta find one more because they all tie together. And then Proverbs 31:10. Okay, so this is Proverbs 31:3. This is one of my favorite verses. Do not give, I'm reading out of Amplified. Okay. Do not give your generative strength to women, neither foreign wives and marriages of alliances nor concubines, nor your ways to which destroy kings. So that goes back to what Connect was saying. Like, you can't just be willy nilly, and oftentimes you will waste your strength, your energy, your time on these miscellaneous women, right? And then, so Proverbs 31:10 is the description of a worthy woman, an excellent woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Who is he can find her? Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far more than rubies or pearls. And then it goes on, you know what I'm saying, that her husband heart trusting her. We're not gonna go into all of that. But I picked those out to paint a whole picture. You dig what I'm saying? If you do find, right, like if I personally was not looking for nothing, I was out here doing my thug thizzle. I'm not gonna lie to y'all boys. I know this is a Christian channel, so I'm gonna keep it PG. You know what I'm saying? But I was in a place of hurt, and I was just doing what I wanted to do, bro. And I was having my way. You dig what I'm saying? Like if I wanted it, I could have it. You dig what I'm saying? Now, my initial thought was when I heard the question was, is it beneficial for men to play the game? Now, when I heard that, I thought playing the game meant being a player in a sense, or having different interactions with women. And for me, that was a two-sided answer. And it's like, what the car? Why do you say that as a believer? Let me explain. Kind of like the conversation we had earlier. The Bible is that is what we are striving to become. Now, however we get there, we're gonna have some ups, we're gonna have some downs, but this is the law and this is what we are trying to live by. Flat out, period. Whether you like it or not, even if you agree, disagree, it don't matter how you feel, because guess what? The truth does not need your endorsement. Anywho,
Absolutely.
you feel what I'm saying? So on the one hand, when I heard the question, it's like, well, I feel like it is beneficial. And it's like, well, why, Dakari? Why do you say that? Well, all right. Some people learn from experience. Experience is the best teacher. Sometimes your dad could tell you, or your mom, because my mom in a certain case was like, hey, Dakari, she's not good for you. Hey, Dakari, this, and that. All right, son, she this, and that. And I'm not listening. I'm not listening. I'm not hearing. My mother is telling me, and she was right. She ended up being right, but she's telling me I wasn't hearing. So sometimes you have to get burnt by that fire to understand I'm not gonna put my hand over that stove. You dig what I'm saying? Then so that's one example why I feel like on the one hand, yes, we do have to. Some people have to. Wise men learn from other people's experiences, and then fools have to do it themselves. And sometimes we all are foolish. You dig what I'm saying? On the other side, the other reason why I'd be like, yeah, and this might sound messed up, but I'm just speaking as candidly as I can possibly be. Having different interactions with women as a man, and you doing what you're supposed to do, you're constantly bettering yourself, bro. It does something to your psyche. Like bro. The confidence boost just go from here to here. Now, can that get toxic? Yes. Can that be a slippery slope? Yes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just speaking from my personal experience and from what I've seen. Young men that interact with women often have a better self-esteem. They often view themselves as leaders. They view themselves as I don't like to use this term like the prize or the prized possession, but they have a, for a lack of better words, they have an essence about them. They have an aura about them, as opposed to their counterparts. They just don't have that, and that can often put them in a hard spot when it is time to find a mate or like time to find a wife. You dig what I'm saying? But all in all, bro, I'm a firm believer in the woman that you deal with as a man, bro. You're accountable to that. You need to be accountable for the woman that you deal with. Now, you could deal with a witch or you could deal with a woman that love God. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have the discernment and the wherewithal to understand, first of all, where you are in life, understanding like, do I have the capacity to even engage this? And does she have the capacity for me? Because that's the biggest thing for
Oh,
me.
wait,
Can you
you just hit the
you know what I'm
nail.
saying?
Go, I
Like,
gotta talk about that. Go ahead, man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, can you deal with me? Can you deal with everything that comes with me? Do you understand my drive? Do you understand my passion? Will you be there? Like,
and
all of these things matter, bro.
and I think that regarding like playing the game, I don't think that that's that's a common factor that people really think about. I
Absolutely.
think people just be playing the game for like just like you playing the game, you playing it for the thrill. You
Yeah.
playing it just to get the experience. You're not playing for
You just hooping the
the
hoop, bro.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean?
that's what I was gonna get into, right? Because what you said, you really brought it together, and that's kind of what I wanted this discussion to really be, because it's really no definitive answer. It's kind of like it's just best. It's up to your best judgment, right? But ultimately, what most men and women these days too, they just view it. That's why it's called a game. They view it as a game. Like it's a lot for a lot of people. It's about, oh, what can I get out of this person? It's not about a building thing. It's not about like so I want to go to this verse real quick, and then I'm gonna pose another question, right? I'm gonna pose another topic to segue into. This it's gonna be a part of the same topic. I'm gonna Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 verse 3. Meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. Now,
Oh Lord. Oh
now,
Lord.
now we know in today's age, I'ma keep it a buck, bro. Y'all not the women not gonna want to hear this. We don't care. We telling the truth. Most women is harlots, bro.
Okay, break that down for the
I
people that don't
look,
know.
look, look.
Break it
Mo
down to them.
the a majority of people, we in the last days, we read out of Second Timothy chapter 3 all the time, talking about people gonna be heady, high-minded, they gonna be partying, all types of stuff. Most people, men and women these days, are wicked, and
Yeah.
promiscuousness is at an all-time high on both the sides
Oh,
of women
1,000%.
on.
Houston STD rate is through the roof right now. After they just had that spring breaking hoop, brother, the STD rate shot through the roof.
And so what I'm saying is, like, okay, we had to be honest with ourselves, because like I said, God
Yeah.
know our hearts.
Yeah.
Most women is out here getting off. They
For
getting
sure.
off. So
Yes.
so so when we read this verse, meet not with the harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. As men, if the whole the topic, the first I'm gonna establish this. All right, let's go into this. Do men have an issue with purpose, with finding drive in their life? Do y'all see that as a common denominator for a lot of modern men? They put too much eggs in the basket of females' attention, a woman's validation, intimacy, sex, all of this type of stuff. Because from the way I see it, I feel like the issue comes with us men is we high horse, we pedestal a lot. We, what Kendrick say, put the on the pedestal, put the on a high
Yeah.
horse. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what a lot of men these days do. But for the solution, let's say okay, it's also a lot of men out here genuinely looking for relationships. So my advice would be, like I said, focus on your purpose, bro. And like Dakari said, you know, you gotta surround yourself with good people, because then that's when good women will come and they'll fly. Satan, he gonna try and send his minion here and there, of course. But I will say, from my personal experience, I've dealt with horrible women, and I've dealt with phenomenal women. I've been cool and kicked it with women that was super cool, super down to earth. Was intelligent. Actually was going celibate, all types of stuff, doing stuff in their life, and I done mess with the worst of the worst. So it's like, ultimately, I went to the scripture in Ecclesiasticus to also show, like, if we know that most women in modern times is harlots, like, our discernment has to be A1. And it's like Dakari said, like, we have to be able to take accountability. And I want to add this the last thing I'm gonna say. You have to also be okay with, when we talking about, God adding stuff onto us. For some of us, it may not be, we may supposed to be like Paul. We may not supposed to have no wife. And for some of us, we pride that will be our calling, to take on a woman
Yeah.
and lead her to the kingdom.
Yeah.
But
But
but yeah, reiterating the point, Do y'all think men have a problem with discipline and purpose in this
Yes.
time?
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's such a loaded question that you can hit that from all different angles. Like no diddy. Like you can attack that in many different ways. And the reason I say that, you could attack it from the position of, all right, well, everything is instant, social media, instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? You can go at it from that angle. Then you could go at it from the angle of society is, let me word this the right way. Society is decentralizing normal, what a family's supposed to be.
Hmm.
God, man, woman, children. You dig what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you could understand that there's certain things being pushed, certain ideologies that's being, forced upon, that kind of make it hard for men to want to strive or want to, what I'm saying, shoot for what might be in their heart. So that's a loaded question, bro. But to keep it simple, yeah, bro. Men do have difficulty having discipline, and and last thing I'll say, I think a lot of men are just discouraged. They don't know where they want to shoot that arrow. They don't know how to go about shooting the arrow, and I think that they just like they're afraid of failure
Hmm.
because they feel like
I,
they competing against people that's, you know what I'm saying, already in the position that they want to be. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of factors that go into that question, bro.
Oh, social media did
I
a number.
I think I think a big part of it is the average man does not realize that he is in a war, in the spiritual war, you know,
Hmm.
and we're constantly being attacked with all these different things, like you said, all these different factors and these different angles you can hit it from, the instant gratification, the whether it be sites, social media or whatever, or even this dating structure. I
Hmm.
mean, and like you said, the destruction of the family foundation. Try to keep the black man out of the household. All these things.
Not even just black men, period. Like this isn't even just the, you know what I'm saying? That's a kingdom issue. Like that ain't even my fault. I just had to say that because
Oh,
some
no,
people
no, you're
hear
right.
some
You
people
most
hear
definitely
black man and just think it's excluding. No, this is a kingdom believer issue. This is not just a.
right.
I digress.
Yeah.
No, no, you most definitely right. And yeah, it's definitely a plague that's going around running rampant regarding that. And yeah, most people don't realize that it's a war that we're in. It's a spiritual war.
Yeah,
So us to combat that, you have to understand who's the enemy. You have to understand who's attacking you. You have to understand the battle, and how to fight. And that's a big thing. That's a big advantage that we have as, believers, as people who understand the truth and the word. We see we see the battle. We see the war. So we have a higher responsibility regarding how we walk, regarding how we move, and that's we're supposed to be an example. We're supposed to be a light.
yeah,
And for us to do the same thing that the masses are doing, and I'll just say like this so-called game, it's it's not. I don't think that be in everybody's best interest. You know what I mean? And especially regarding, we have to move like we understand where we are, like
yeah.
we understand we are in Babylon. We're dealing, these women that we're dealing with. They, even if they shalom shalom, Hebrew whatever, a lot of them be Babylonians. You know what I mean? And man, we were before we started the stream, we were talking about how the Most High had killed off the generations, and the oldest person to make it out of the wilderness was Joshua,
Joshua.
if I'm not. Yeah, Joshua. He was 20 years old. The Most High did that on purpose because the elders, they had their hearts were still towards Egypt. They still missed the customs of the Egyptians. They still missed the meat that the Egyptians had. They said they was getting sick of that what is it? Uh Manna and kale. They was getting sick of it, and they wanted the fish the Egyptians had. If you read through all that book, they kept asking for things that they had while they were in captivity. And even when Moses went on Mount Sinai, when he went on Mount Sinai, he came back down. They had made a golden calf. That's something that the Egyptians do. They make the statues out of animals and stuff. So they
Mhm.
still had the Egyptians spirit in their hearts. That's why he killed off those generations, because they would have polluted his land. They would have polluted his perfect land that they had. They would have tried to bring those Egyptian customs into his land. They still had that living, that sin in their heart. And I say, man, it's the same thing now regarding we are in Babylon. Us dealing with certain women and trying to change them.
Oh no.
Um, that's like well, from my experience, almost an impossibility, because they have to, just as we as individuals had to submit to the Most High,
Yeah.
had to submit to the will of God, they had to do the same thing. And a lot of people in general, especially these women,
And
they be drunk off the wine of Babylon. They be
and
drunk off the custom. Drunk.
and how let me how do they submit to the Most High? Can we talk about the order of things? Can
Think
we
we all know the answer to this.
can we talk about the
Man,
what makes sense?
the word, man, the word say God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. They're supposed to be
Now now do
submitting to
now do that mean
righteous man.
do that mean we are better than women?
No,
It
no.
means everybody has their
The place.
place.
It's a position.
100%. Cause
It's
bro, like that's just bro. Let's just keep it plain and simple, gang. And here's how I like to put it when if a woman say that, oh no, like da da da. All right, somebody breaking in your house, and it's multiple people, right? Let's just say it's 2, 3 people, and your man look over at you and be like, so what you gonna do? You're like that's not even that's not nature. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
I'll never understand the process of some people's mind of like things have to be fair. Life is not
oh,
fair.
favor is not fair.
Exactly.
Hey, look,
Exactly.
Favor
So it's
is
I,
not
like
fair.
I always talk about this scripture in Genesis, bruh. Joseph was sent over to Egypt. Joseph was in captivity 14 years. He got out. He became the second in command. In the land of Egypt was heathens. God
Yeah,
blessed the whole land and everybody in it because of Joseph.
yeah,
Not because of any. It wasn't. Oh, he loved them all. Yeah, God. They still people that God created. But Joseph was the reason. Without
he made
Joseph,
it.
what there? They get no blessings. Is
they'll
is
actually
that fair? Is that equal?
no.
No,
It's
that's
it's
like
it's
being
actually it's fair because
Because
Joseph's
they
heart was
got
in
blessed.
yeah Joseph's heart was inclined to the Lord.
Yeah,
He made intercession for them, just like how Christ makes intercession for all of mankind.
yeah.
exactly.
If we want to talk about fairness, we should all go to hell.
Oh, 1,000%. It shouldn't even be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
No
that's
cap.
fair. That is. Y'all want to know what I was talking to a pastor. I know this a little off. Topic. This was so cold
We're
blooded
gonna
to
be good,
me
bro.
because he was like, because I was like, yeah, bro. People be like, oh, like it's not fair that like people go to hell, blah blah blah. And he was like, well, God is a fair and just God. I think me and Jordan, I think we talked about this the other day. He was like, bro, God is a fair and just God. If you didn't want to be, if you hated me and didn't want to be with me on earth, why would I make you spend an eternity with me in heaven?
With me.
I said,
Exactly.
oh, because
Why?
that
Why?
makes perfect. I never thought of that though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Why would you want to spend eternity with the entity you hate? It's the same. It's the
Mhm.
same way, yo. Somebody could be bad mouthing you guys, but still want you to hit them up on their birthday. Still want you to
Yeah.
pull up to the function. Like you just cut, man. You just said I. You just said I was a BAN.
Mhm.
You just
Yo,
you just said I was a. You just said I'm gonna keep it a bean. You just said I was a bitch ass nigga, bruh. And
yeah.
why do you want that at your function?
Yeah, why you want that at the function, gang?
Exactly.
But ultimately, bringing it back around, I want to ask this the third little question I want to propose. Do you believe, because we talking about relationships, right? Do y'all believe that a majority of women do not understand or even try to understand men?
That's tough. Okay.
um,
I can speak from
Or
my experience.
or let's add a third layer. Or do they understand and do they just not care?
I say
that that was gonna be my answer. I think they understand, but they don't care. Because I see a lot of examples of women that know real men, and disregard them and disrespect them, but with simps or with certain men that what you call them, mind meats or whatever.
My meats and squeeges,
And
baby.
yeah, they let them, they let them have their way in the sense of the simps get what they want, that attention. You know what I mean? The mommies, they get that box. But with real men, uh, they gonna try to they can tell the difference. They gonna try to make you jump through hoops, and you know what I mean. They gonna try to they can see the spirit on you. So, and I think it's very much stood. Um, and I see a lot of projecting and a lot of it's like when they near real men, you always hear the you're insecure. If you hold standards, you hold certain standards for
Oh,
your
yeah,
women or
I was
whatever.
gonna say, what can we
Or
can we explain what a real man
clarify
is?
well, man. I was just about to ask that. I was like
Because
what's
so many
the
people they so real. Can we go ahead and give us the definition?
I think a real man is a man that has morals and principles, a provider, a leader. Um, I think a real man is somebody who is not compromised by uh the structure that we're this society, the structure that we're living in. They're gonna stand on their word. They're gonna stand on their integrity. You know what I mean? They are masculine. They and me personally, I think that goes along with, well, let me not even say that. Um, I think that's the gist of a real man. I think well, I was gonna include the factor of having God in your life, but I mean, to a certain extent, I think a real man is just he's gonna stand on his he's not gonna compromise his masculinity for 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 this system. You know what I mean? For whatever it shall be.
I'm
The system is attacking masculinity like on the highest level that I've seen. So I think that's what I had to say
I,
about that.
I'm gonna jump out and say I don't think you can be 100% a real man without God, bro. I don't think that. I think that plays a major role. Like if you really think of the biblical patriarchs, they was out here cutting people heads off when God told them to, cause God was with them, bruh. bro. Like most men these days, they don't have the capacity to cut another man's head off if he trying to take your life, bro. Gouge his eyes out, stuff like that. Brutal. But the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, go ahead with your take when asking
Can you
about.
ask the question again?
Oh yeah, I was saying, do you believe that like a lot of modern women just don't understand how men operate, or are they basically choosing to just ignore it in selfishness for what they want personally? Take your time. Do 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 do
Chill,
do.
bro. I'm trying to. I wanna answer this. I want to answer this the not the right way, but I would say the modern. When we say the modern woman, let's clarify for people online. We're not talking about all women in this generation. We're talking about a mind frame, and a way in which a woman is operating during this time period. So now that we got that out the way, I believe that that demographic of women to which we are referring
If the shoe fit.
treats, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I believe that they treat the man, it depends upon the man, right? Because I know there are some women that talk to bro crazy, but when they talk to me, they don't talk to me crazy.
Hmm.
Or vice versa. Well, first of all, no, let's calm down, Dakari. I don't get talked to crazy no way because I don't play like that. Disrespect, eh, I respect you
Hold on,
until
hold
you
on.
disrespect. You know what I'm saying?
I was
So,
about to say, why don't you play like, why don't you go for that?
bro, because that's not how that go. Especially with a woman, bro. That ain't how that go. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it goes back to my understanding. First of all, my parents are married, so I've seen and my grandparents are married, so I've seen how a woman treats a man and the reverence that the woman has for the man, and vice versa, the reverence that the man also has for his woman. You dig what I'm saying? So let's just put it. For me, the reason why I don't play like that is because one, before God had worked on me, I was prone to slapping people. When I say people, I'm talking about men. Because I just don't, I'm not wired that way. Because I give the utmost respect. I give the utmost love. Because that's just how, you know what I'm saying? That's how I
Hmm.
am. So the fact that you disrespected me, now there has to be repercussions. But that's when I was a child. I thought like a child. Now that I'm older, I put away those childish things. Right? But when it comes to women, it's like, bro, I'm a man. Like, why would you even fix your lips to speak to me in that manner? Especially when I wasn't out here. I apologize for my language. I wasn't out here calling you bitches and hoes and you know what I'm saying? I didn't speak to you in that way. So if I'm showing you respect, oh, I need that back. Otherwise, we can cut this out now. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have when I was in college. I didn't have women say, bitch, or like they'd be like, bitch, like you know what I'm saying? They just say it because that's how they talk to other dudes. I'd be like, yo, bro,
Hmm.
don't talk to me like that. Like I don't play that. And they be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like uh, women will respect a man when a man is being a man. The issue that I often find is that men ain't being men, or nor are they comfortable in standing in their manhood. Because the best thing to be on the planet is a man. As a man, I'm saying like that is it's a privilege to be a man. You dig what I'm saying? So to answer the question, I just believe that it depends on how she views you and then also how you view yourself. She's only gonna a woman is gonna do what you allow. And hold on before they be like, oh, like what do you mean by that? I'm saying if you set a boundary, a woman won't cross that boundary unless she's intentionally trying to disrespect you.
Exactly.
You dig what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? But most people don't set boundaries. They don't even know the boundary that they have between their friends, let alone
They don't
trying
even
to interact with a woman romantically.
they don't even set boundaries for themselves. Oh,
Bingo.
one more blunt, one more blunt, one more blunt.
You know what I'm saying? You
But
know what I'm saying?
but look, so this is my experience, right? Ultimately, I was just talking to Rodney about this in the gym. I personally, women have phenomenal intuition. Like women
Oh,
aren't
100%.
women aren't stupid.
Not at
And
all.
I believe women know exactly who the real men are. And when I say real men, we're talking about masculine will protect, will provide for the right woman, would even die for his family, all of this type of stuff,
Oh,
standing on principles,
can I
boundaries.
say something about that?
Go
That you
ahead.
said that because I was talking to my brother Ron. This was for my birthday, and it was me, his girl, my girl. We was all in the hotel room and Boog. And I asked Ron. I said, bro, did you die today? Because we had worked out. He was like, yeah. I was like, bro, I did too. And then I was like, when we leave here, if something happened, you ready to die? He was like, yeah. And then the girls looking like, what is y'all talking about? And I was like, y'all won't understand because I said, once we step out of these doors, y'all are protected. Won't nothing happen to y'all because we're here and we're willing to die for y'all because that's just how it go. Y'all don't have to worry about that because that's not your wiring. Once we step out these doors, I'm liable for you. Period. That's just how that gotta go. But that's what I wanted to say. Like that line of thinking. Most people don't even think like
How many men have that? But ultimately, okay, so what I was going into, women are they very intuitive. So I was telling
yeah,
Rodney, I was like, women know exactly who the real men are, and they know who the mind meats are. They know who the squeeges are. They know who the dude that's gonna shower them with compliments is. They know who the dude that wanna crack 7 days a week. That's why they calling him. Ugh, he weird. All of this type of stuff. They know the dude. They know who the dude is that's gonna validate him and just shut the fuck. Just shut the shit.
work in progress, guys. He's a work in
Hey,
progress.
hey, look. Hey, look, because when I get to talking about mind meats, I'm telling you they a cancer. But look,
Bro got triggered.
they know who the dude is gonna basically just shut his mouth. He gonna give out meat. If she disrespect him, he just gonna, all right, what do I do to get her to be quiet? Just so I get some more box or so I keep the
Yep, for
relationship
sure.
going. They know who that's gonna be. So
Yeah, for sure.
ultimately, what I believe, I just personally believe, women choose to try and disrespect men, but
Bingo.
for
Once
like
they
the
see you not going,
yeah, like for Dakari said, once you set boundaries, bro, because I've been in both situations. I've been in situations where I've acquiesced and I was just like, let me just give her what she wants to make this work. And I've been in situations where I got talking too crazy and I'm like, go home, bro. Like, you're not coming in here, go home. You're not coming in my house. And or where I've gotten up and I've walked out and I've dipped out and I was like, I'm about to go. Where you going? I'm going to the crib. You tripping. And that's just been that, right? Just standing on business. So ultimately, like said, it's just about, I think it really come down to the type of men you are, but I also think we need to understand as men, like for the men watching, most women are gonna choose the easier option.
oh,
Cause they don't
they don't
want.
have to be accountable.
Yeah, you don't have to. You got to think when we think about it. Most women are raised up never hearing no, princess, baby, just getting everything we want. Then you add social media to the mix. 100 dudes hitting her
Oh,
DMs, firing them neurons. That dopamine going stupid, right? So we had to look at it for the average woman out here in this day and time and age, and then you got influencers and stuff. Why would she want to be with the dude that's gonna have higher standards? We had to understand, when if you a man that you a real man and you have principles, no matter how much money you got or your stat, you got principles, standards. You gonna stand on what you stand on with man or woman. Understand, a lot of the time it don't really be you. It be unhealed people who really never had an example. Like Dakari was saying, he had his grandparents and his parents was married, so he had the example to see. Most people don't have that, and a lot of women, even they fathers ain't, they not real men in their lives a lot of the time, even if they there, like they just getting pampered and stuff. So you have to also understand, people are going to choose chaos and dysfunction because that's all that
'cause
they
that's
know.
all they know.
I say I want to refer back to Second Timothy chapter 3 and 2 through 9. how it lists all of the people in the last days. People shall be perilous times shall come. People shall be
Mm-hmm.
lovers of themselves, boasters, proud, disobedient to parents. You know, basically describing reprobated narcissists. And it says, "From such turn away." And I think that's a powerful thing, and I think that's something that us as believers that we take for granted when it says "from such turn away." Um, we, well, at least from my experience, especially once I was new to the truth, I had that,
The
that fresh
zeal.
zeal. Yeah, that zeal want to tell everybody the truth. Want to, hey, Christ opened my eyes, so I want Christ to open your eyes. I want everybody to hop in. You know what I mean? Oh, I like you, you my girl. Let me change. Let me try to change you. Let me try to, you know what I mean. Even though I see you on that wicked timing, I see that you don't want it. Let me try. You know what I mean? Or you my brother. I see that you know what I mean. You on your YN timing, but I'm trying to introduce you to. You know what I mean? It's like I learned that I learned the hard way that people have to want it themselves, and you
Mm-hmm.
cannot change these people. And the Bible says, "From such turn away." And I think, like, overall, that's why my mindset is why my mindset. That's why my mindset is infatuated on not playing the game, because I see too many people playing the game that are under this category of, that Second Timothy chapter 3, verse
Mm-hmm.
2 through 9. Um, basically speaking of ungodly people and their, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. People play the game for their pleasures. People don't play the game for purpose.
For
People
sure.
don't play the game to build legacy, to build relationships for real. It's all about, like you said earlier, Jay, what can I get from this person? What, how can I take advantage? So yeah, I think
I,
that, and then that's another, um and it all depends on the woman, man. It's like a lot of the time, most of the time, you're gonna be dealing with somebody
oh
that's of the
man.
world. And that's why the most high, that's why the word says, "Keep your mind on the things above, and all these things shall be added into your life," because he knows that we're in a world surrounded by wickedness. He knows that we're in a world surrounded by reprobates and sin and filth. That's why we're supposed to be holy and set apart. That's why we're not supposed to be worrying about these things, and that's why we're supposed to be focused on his word, focus on that he will supply us the nourishment that we need, the things that we desire. Because, man, if it I had to learn, man, it's not my will. I had to operate in the Father's will. I mean, that's a big reason why I made that the song Fast. Talking about if I could change the world, you know, I do it at the speed of light. I do it blind who needs to sight. My faith is what will win the fight. Basically just saying, man, if it was if I had like a button or something that I could, just boop change the world, if I could delete all this wickedness or whatever, I would. But that's not the will of the Father. The will is that we be tried through the fire. The will is that his will is that we overcome, you know what I mean, and endure, so that we may earn his the fruits of the spirit through our righteousness, our faith and obedience. And to do that, we have to be in a position of where this world is opposing us. And I find that we in the, you know, as Jay, like I said, we in the time of was the time of Moses, man. It's we are in dire times to where
Time of Noah.
things time of Noah, my fault, my fault, time of Noah, yeah. We are in that time where things are dire. We are in that time where in Second Timothy 3 it said it'll be perilous times, man. So we have to move on a whole other vibration. We have to do things different, man. I see plenty of my elders playing this game, man. I don't see them. in long lasting relationships. I see them dealing with 304s and you know what I mean, entertaining, or either the baby mama culture. I don't want to be another one of those statistics. So man, me personally, I'm I'm focusing on my creator. I'm being appreciative of who the father enters in my life, and I'm honing in on the things that I should be honing in on. You know,
A-
conquering my sin and seeking perfection.
Absolutely. Alrighty. I'm gonna just have us give our closing thoughts out, man. I just want to say, the advice I want to give people: if you single, if you a man and you a single, you know, don't even worry. Like people always tell me my whole life, don't really worry about
Yeah,
a
be there.
woman. They gonna be there, bruh. Like focus really when people say really lock in, focus on yourself, bro. Do that thing, learn that new thing you wanted to learn. Get in the gym. That's what I did. That was my thing. I got into the gym. Just start turning your life around, doing better stuff, eating better. Finding a new hobby. Getting your money right, all types of stuff, getting your affairs in order. And I would say
Yeah,
to the men that are in relationships, man, ask yourself, am I respected here? Right? And if you are, we if you in the word, the fruits of the spirit. A woman is supposed to be meek, modest, has temperance, patience, all types of stuff like that. So, ask yourself, am I being respected here? And if so, you got you one. If not, you know, a lot of the time I see with men, and I've been there myself. We try to convince ourselves. All right, maybe we be doing the same thing women trying to do to us. Maybe I could change her. Maybe and we stay in a situation we not really supposed to be in. But ultimately, your gut'll let you know. So, those my closing sentiments. I'm gonna let the other brothers get theirs, and we gonna get up out of here, man.
I say to close it out, I say, man, whether you're single or you're not, you have to love yourself. You know, love yourself enough to be alone, to to the point where you don't feel pressured to, get in a relationship. And also, love yourself to the point where if you get in a relationship or when, it's that time, you're not compromising for BS. I see it's a lot of men doing that compromise, their morals or compromise their masculinity to get in these relationships, and it really destroys a lot of men. Love yourself enough to make the right decisions. Love yourself enough to actually live in your purpose, to find your true purpose, and to, you know, respect yourself above all the things that this world, this society tries to pressure us, and in the sense of, feeling like we just need these things. You know what I mean? Instant. That's the trick of the adversary. You got to be fast. I need it now. I need, you know what I mean? But in reality, I don't think that's how the Most High designed life to be. I see it all throughout the scripture. It says be long suffering and patient. And that's something that I had to realize, and I had to tell myself, man, it's all in the Father's will. So if this happens, it's gonna be on His timing, and ain't no telling what it be. It could, my life could change tomorrow. You know what I mean? Wherever it shall be, success or whatever, or things could be taken away. But regardless, I'm rocking with the Father. I'm not. My faith is not gonna be broken. I'm gonna keep strong. Just as Job did, even if that happens, or you know what I mean. And the Father, I have faith that the Father will bless me abundantly, regardless. You know what I mean? Because keeping my mind on the things above, that's what it's about. That's what's keep me. The word, man. That's what keeps me going, man. It keeps my sanity. You know what I mean? That's what occupies me. Not this game, man. I'm playing is a whole other game.
Mr. Dreadhead.
Dre head missing tooth, pocket full of blues. What you want to do? Anyway, hey man, if you know, you know. But closing statements. Okay, All right. So for the men that's single, I'm 25. I'm not. But if I was, what would I be on? I would bro. I'd be focusing on myself. I would be getting closer to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I would have no room for error, no room for anything that didn't listen. Everything that you do either brings you closer to your purpose or pulls you farther away. That's it. It's really no in between. So if I was 25, younger than me, bro, pour into yourself, bro. Like they said, bro, women will be there for the end of time. And then it will be at an age where you can get women older than you and you can get women younger than you. You'll be able to have a pick of the litter, bro. But all that is really for nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And then for the men that are in relationships, I would piggyback off what was said. Are you respected here? Do you see a future here? Is God pulling you towards this woman to where y'all could become a union? Or is God pulling you away from this and showing you that, hey, you're not supposed to be here, son? You need to be aware. You know what I'm saying? And then the wrong woman can be a distraction, bro. So is this woman pouring into you? Is this woman pouring into your dreams? Is she speaking life over you after a long day? Is she adding extra stress? Or is
Dave,
she actually someone that could, you know what I'm saying? Is she actually
Dave,
someone,
David
huh?
Solomon Sampson.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Feel me? Like all like bro, it really matters. So bro, be cautious of the women that you deal with, gang. And I get it sometimes, you know, this might look like glitter, but everything that glitter is not gold, and we all know that, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? That's all I got, bro. I done been on both sides, gang, so I understand. And I appreciate that you invited me on the show, man. Thank you.
Y'all know we gonna obviously chop it up about a lot more. It's for sure.
Most
This
definitely.
this just the beginning, man. This the brotherhood we building over here, man. I come on this channel all the time and I talk about building up your community. Getting with like minded individuals. Before I get off this, cause I want to end this on a super positive note. I met Connect in 2024 in North Carolina, bro. We went there. A YouTuber, his name is New Breed. One of my biblical mentors I've been following for the last 6 years. He knew a guy who owned some land, and they had a land initiative. I met him. I met Connect out there, and I didn't plan that. I had always prayed to just have good fellowship and companionship. Met him out there, and we've been rocking with each other since. And even me and Dakari, we go back to high school our freshman year. And I just think about this today. I remember we had when me and him caught back up with each other. I was over at my sister house on my mom's side. I was at her grandma house, and a Sunday had came up, and she just had us go to church. And people that know me, they know I don't really be going to the churches like that, but I just went, right, and lo and behold, I see Dakari in there. This was probably like 2017, something like that. I just see
Yeah.
him in there, and I'm like, what you doing in here, man? And ever since then, we had been locked back in, bro. So ultimately, I want to say, man, as men, find y'all flock. This what this Discord is for. The Discord link is gonna be in the description for anybody that wants to join the Discord and have fellowship. It's gonna be a lot of plans for the Discord. Obviously motivational talks if it's needed. I would love to hear people testimonies on their life and what people is going through as well. It's gonna be motivational scriptures posted, and we breeding a space of accountability over here, like you know, a place that's just open, bro, because it's not a lot of places for true actual believers in our Father Yahuwah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? But yeah, with all of that being said, man, do me a favor, hit the like button, get us through the algorithms, man, so we can reach more people with these type of conversations and truth. As we keep going forward, we're gonna have more guests on the show. We're gonna have Connect and Kari coming back. We're gonna get Ro back on, and we're gonna delve into a lot of super, like, all these topics important, but it's levels to stuff. So we're gonna delve into some super important stuff for the times to come, the times we in, and all that type of stuff. But with that being said, man, leave y'all comments. What part did y'all agree with? What didn't y'all agree with? You know, we're not afraid of criticism over here and whatnot. We embrace it. So, you know, let us know what you like, what you agree with, what you didn't agree with, you know, and hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend, you know, tell a friend, man. It ain't nothing. That's free. That's free, man. Yeah, and all it costs is 2 seconds of your time, please. But with that being said, it's been you know your boy. What's my outro? It's been your boy, the chosen one, God's chosen son.
Chosen son.
The chosen one, God's chosen son, and friends. We signing out.
Yeah. Peace.
Man, word to the mom, man.
Shalom.
Shalom, brother.
Embrace my faith tightly, knowing its weakness in the flesh. Through humbling and meekness, reap the sweetness of what's blessed. Life is too short to regress from your regrets. Contrite on these nights, putting my merit to the test. If evil is the cathedral full of people, then I know a matter of time for the world loses hope. The breath that I'm giving in the moments I got left. Use my pen as my sword, let the Lord guide my steps.